Yeah, I mean, obviously, getting on the plane coming back from Kansas City after a win uh, made that flight a lot more enjoyable. But at the same time, I was excited with the way we practiced yesterday because we were off on Monday. The energy, the enthusiasm, because we knew we didn't play um, um, the way we had practiced for whatever reason. Um, and the guys were excited about having an opportunity to get out there and compete yesterday. And this team's been a whole lot of fun to be around. And we got a great opportunity on Saturday. Not only are they, I don't know where they're ranked, but I got to think they're right around 10th in the country, somewhere in there. Um, but it's also a team that beat us last year, and they're a team that's as a coach. Um, uh, there's certain teams that I go to bed at night and I get excited because they're teams that I feel are like unbelievably well coached, and Houston's one of them. I think Kelvin Sampson's one of the better coaches in my generation, even though he's slightly older than me. But the guys that I grew up as a young aspiring coach watching his teams on TV, he's one of the guys that I've always looked up to. So um, exciting week, and excited for our guys.
Okay, first question to Dave.
How's it going, Frank? Thanks for doing this. You mentioned, Houston and Kelvin, they play a certain way. That's Kelvin's teams, but how has their personnel changed from last year?
Very similar. I mean, they lost a young man, Nate Hinton, who was their leading rebounder, even though he was their small forward, and hurt us. I mean, he had a real good game against us. He really hurt us from that small forward spot with his shooting and his physicality. But outside of that, they're very similar. They lost a 6'7" guy that played good number of minutes for him, but he replaced him with the young man Cheney, that's a transfer from Arkansas, who's played a lot of minutes for Arkansas in his 2 years there. It's we're facing a very similar team that's probably a lot like we are. Trying to replace one guy that provided a lot of stuff for them. Um, um, but at the same time, having so many returning guys um, that they should be better at how they play. So that's what gets me excited, because I think it's two teams that return a big number of guys, and I think both teams are better than they were at this time last year when we played each other.
Mike Gillespie.
Hey, Coach, thanks for doing this today. Just wondering, Justin was saying that he felt maybe a little out of rhythm on Saturday in that first game. I'm wondering how much maybe not having that exhibition game last week kind of affected Saturday's play a little bit.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that you think about professional sports. These are the guys that make $30-40 million a year because they're their best at what they do. The first game out of the chute, whether it's Major League Baseball, the NBA, they're always nervous. There's always a sense of enthusiasm, and they that extra energy tends to drain you a little bit. That's why preseason games, people don't like preseason games, and 12-year veterans don't like preseason games, or at least a whole lot of them. But at the same time, having some of those exhibition games allows you to get your mind back to playing in front of cameras with referees or umpires, with another team, with different styles. It kind of releases the anxiety that you have going into a year. So it definitely affected us. I mean, that's no excuse. But it's part of the journey, because if it only happened to us, then okay. But no, no one had exhibition games, or everyone's had first game jitters. I think if you ask Richie McKay, he'd tell you that his guys, the first game out against Purdue, had some of that same tightness. They didn't shoot the ball the way that they did against Mississippi State and us. But that's why you play a season. And Mike, I've said it all along. This emotional roller coaster that media, fans, players, coaches, that we've all created based on the results of an individual game it's ridiculous. It's completely out of control. We got to have a piece of, you sign up for the season. You don't sign up for a game. You don't sign up for a week. You don't sign up for a month. Sign up for the season. And you got to take every day as a learning moment and be excited every time you get an opportunity to go for another day. Be excited about that and not be so I don't even know what the word is. So if you just look back and I'm going to use our Final Four year. We lost to Alabama in the conference tournament and everybody was ready to jump off the ship, like literally, except our players and our coaches. And 3 weeks later, it's the ride that this university's never taken with the same group of people. So, everyone needs to just understand. And, we've it's a whole year. It's 20, whatever we're playing, 26 games, I think is what we got, 26. I hope we get 26 in. And if we do, then let's figure out who we are after 26.
Thank you.
Colin?
Yeah, Frank, I guess, how's Seventh doing? I think you mentioned a knee after the Tulsa game. And just you mentioned not playing him. You could have played, but you were running some stuff from last year. Just where's his comfortability level right now in this offense and what you guys are asking him to do?
He's been great. And he's been awesome. I've told you guys, I didn't say that to make people like Seventh. I said it because it's what I believe. He's been great. And like if we had a game today, he'd be out. He didn't practice yesterday. And, we're hopeful that he'll be able to practice some tomorrow and then normal Friday. And if, his knee responds the right way, then he's good to go on Saturday. He's been great, man. He's added a dimension to our team, an energy, an athleticism, stability that our team needs. And as he continues to get comfortable now, like I said, in the second half, which the reason I said it is because it's on me, not him or anyone on our team. I did a real crappy job of preparing our team to face a matchup zone the way in preseason, the way Tulsa plays it. That's on me. That's why I said what I said. So we had to run stuff that we have always run here against matchup zones. If we had an inexperienced team this year, we would have been in deep, against Tulsa. Heck, we still turned it over 24 times. But that's the journey of a coach. You go the whole preseason trying to prepare your team for a sideline out of bounds, a late clock length of court, a box on one, a triangle on two, a 3-2 zone, a 1-2-2 zone, a 1-3-1 zone, a 2-3 zone, hard man, pack line defense, denials, back cuts. You go through every possible scenario that you have to manage as a coach when the game starts. And obviously I did a real crappy job of preparing us to play against a matchup zone. And I didn't even think about that until Saturday at 7:30, 8 p.m., whenever their game with TCU ended. I sat down in my room. I said, okay, Frank, what are you going to do against that matchup zone? Because you have not spent any time practicing against it. And so as a coach, you feel really, really bad that moment. And that was my moment in my hotel room that night. But the kids were awesome. They were awesome. But yeah, Seven's been great. Obviously, I want to see him practice because he's an integral part of our team right now, and we need him for us to maximize who we are. But the one thing that we have is some depth and experience at guards, so we should be able to absorb one guy not being available or one guy not having a very good game on a particular day.
Michael Lanana.
Hey Frank, you're mentioning some of the similarities between Houston and you guys, and looking at the roster, one thing that struck me was just how deep they are at guard as well. A lot of length there. I know they bring in the 6'5" freshman this year. I know Grimes had a great game against you guys last year, and Caleb Mills seems like he's questionable for this game. Just curious, what you make of their guard group, how you guys sort of stack up with them in the backcourt, and just maybe how much of an impact Caleb Mills makes, whether he plays or not against you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll answer your last question first, and then we'll get to the other stuff. Caleb Mills is huge for them. He's their hard shot maker. He's the guy that clock is starting to wind down, and he figures out a way to get a ball and put it in the basket. And every team needs one of those. We're actually trying to figure out who that guy for us is right now. And we've got some guys that I think are up for that moment, but I don't know if we've got a guy on our team that's like him, where you can just say go, and he can just break it down and get his own shot. And what is a hard shot for most is a comfortable shot for him. That's who Caleb Mills is. So. But then, it's our guards are long. If I was just reading some of the numbers on guards on our team, and if you look at our team outside of Wildens Leveque, we don't seem to be a very tall team, but we are a long team. And Jermaine's a 6'8" reach. Trey Hannibal's a 6'7" reach. Justin Minaya is a 6'9" reach. Keyshawn Bryant's a 6'9" reach. So our guards, just like theirs, are long, which makes, if you got smaller guards, it makes passing that ball around a lot more difficult. But that's going to be an interesting part of the matchup Saturday, is the depth of guards, the length of guards, and the experience of guards. It's all three things. They're probably a little deeper than we are on the front line from an experience standpoint, with the 4s and 5s. But we're also playing a little differently than we did when we played each other last year. I wasn't playing Justin at the 4 as much as I am now. So that's going to be an interesting matchup, because we've by playing Justin at the 4, we're playing with more skill, and we really have not lost our physicality there because of Justin. But they tend to play two big guys, and just they get those guards to shoot them balls, and then they just try to physically beat you up at the rim. So we got to be a lot better from that standpoint.
And just a quick follow-up. I know you mentioned the matchup zone with Tulsa. I know Liberty was known for the pack line defense. Curious what kind of looks you're expecting out of Houston, and how you're kind of preparing for that.
Yeah, they're not pack line, but they're very protective of the paint. They want you to shoot jump shots. And if you're going to beat a team like Houston, you have to make jump shots. Just like Liberty, Virginia, you look at our 2 Virginia games, the one here and the one there. The one here, we were something like 4 for 23 from the 3-point line. Well, you're not beating Virginia. The one there, we made 4 threes in the first 4 minutes of the game. So it's you got to make jump shots against teams that play, that are very help oriented and protecting the paint. You're not beating Houston by running ISO plays and dribble driving it. You're just not. You have to pass the ball. You got to make the extra pass, and then you got to have to line up and jump up and shoot and make shots, and and then you got to be tough enough to offset their offensive rebounding by offensive rebounding against them. I have not been real happy with our offensive rebounding consistency the first 2 games out. But if you look at our numbers, we've got a whole bunch of them. So I know it's in us to do it even a little bit better.
John Del Bianco.
Hey, Frank, I'm sure you're fortunate this year to have an experienced team to take on the road. But, what are you expecting out of road games this year, with crowds being limited? Do you think it'll be easier for college basketball teams, regardless of experience on the roster, to get more road wins than in a normal year when arenas are packed out?
Well, with fewer people in the arena, everyone can hear what's being said a lot clearer. So the insults that come with my new hairdo, I'm sure those are going to be fun to be listening to. But it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe, and it's something that we all have to get used to. Chuck Martin had a great line to our players: is you have to create your own energy. You can't, because there's sometimes that early in the year, everyone's geeked up, ready to go. But as the year goes on, now the season starts getting a little long. And when you're dragging a little bit, knowing that you're getting ready to come out of the tunnel at the CLA, and that student section is going to be losing their mind because you're playing whoever, and in the league or whatever the opponent is, and or you go on the road and you come out for pregame shoot around, and the opponent's fans are all in there, and you can feel the energy on the court. That kind of gets your spirits going. We've got to understand that we're probably not getting the energy from the game day environment. It's got to come from our game day preparation internally. So it's something that we all got to be prepared for.
Mitch?
Coach, obviously you talked about, and the players talked about it, the change that you guys had in the second half of that Tulsa game on Sunday and getting guys back into game rhythm. Going into this weekend and obviously having another week of practice under your belt, I guess the perspective, how grateful are you guys to be able to actually have this opportunity for a third game after going and traveling and making sure guys are healthy?
Yeah, it's Mitchell. It's day by day, man. It's day by day. I mean, we just got tested again just before I got on this call. This is test number 7 in the last 9 days. So it's, we get tested and then we get the results later on today. And every time, as soon as I get that text messages, thumb up, meaning everyone's good, you get excited because you get to do it again tomorrow. And it's day by day. You can't overreact to negative. My emotions cannot be tied up to the whole COVID environment. It can't, because I can't control it. I got to get my emotions involved in what I do control. And what we do control is who we are, our energy, our enthusiasm, our positivity. And then when we get the thumb up that we can practice, let's go out there and make it a great day. And when you get the thumb up that we can get on the plane and go play, let's go lay it on the line and represent our uniform and who we are best we can. And, I'm hoping that we get the thumb up on Friday to go get on that airplane. And if we do, then we'll line up Saturday and go up against a heck of a team and give it the best we got.
Colin?
Yeah, Frank, for starters, what's been the response to the new hairdo? Have you gotten any messages?
Yeah, interesting messages. That's what I've gotten. And I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking like straight to my phone. Like,
who's the last one you've gotten from?
Oh, other bald guys just welcome me to the club. People that I haven't talked to in 20 years, concerned if I'm okay, if my health is bad. People I grew up with making fun of me, calling me all kinds of names. I said it a long time ago. I just don't say some stuff publicly, but everyone that knows me said I'm never going to be one of those guys that holds on and combs over and bald up top with hair on the sides. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight to keep my hair because I kind of like my hair. But as soon as I felt like that thing wasn't representing the right way, we're going the other way. We're not kind of going back and forth. And as the summer hit the fall, I found myself trying to cover up all these damn bald spots I had on my head. I say, enough of this, man. Let's jump in. Listen, when I jump into something, I'm not going halfway. we're either going in or we're not. And, so when I went in, I said, let's go in. Either I'm knocking it out or they're knocking me out, but we're not kind of just going in there and running back out. It's but no, you talk about it, Colin. You whatever question you can think of, from fun to joy to concern, it's all come my way for the last, since Saturday, when I put this beautiful dome on display for the world to see.
And I guess, how have you seen the team improve defensively over the last, I guess practice was yesterday. How's that gone after this weekend?
Yeah, they were real good, because I told them I try to be real honest with my teams. I don't try to deceive them. I don't try to lead them, to a certain place through smoke and mirrors and deception. I'm pretty clear with our players, and I told them the whole preseason. I said, either we're a lot better offensively or we're not defending very well. I said, I can't figure that out right now. And after the Saturday game, I told the guys, I said, well, I know my answer now. We're not very good defensively because we're not very good offensively either. And I thought we played a little better on both ends against Tulsa. We were still a little undecisive offensively, but I thought we were a lot better defensively. Play with better grit, better discipline, which allowed us to eventually kind of slow them down. But we were real good yesterday in practice, and we were able to identify some things that I thought we needed to do better. And the guys are great. They're feeling. Here's the problem here's the problem for a coach: when your team deals with a negative moment, and you show them what led to that negative moment, how do they handle that? Do they pout? Do they moan? Do you find yourself fighting them to get them back on board, or do they kind of embrace it and let's go? And the guys embraced it, and they were ready to go yesterday. And so as a coach, you get excited about those moments.
Michael?
As someone whose hair started thinning when I was in college, I definitely understand the whole shave or not to shave conundrum. But going into this weekend, obviously the top 10 matchup against Houston, what kind of mentality do you want your players? Do you want them to have? I mean, obviously Houston's gonna be favored in this game. Do you want them to go in feeling like, hey, we're the underdogs, we have something to prove? Or do you want them to be like, you know what, we can play just as well as they can? I mean, what do you kind of hope for out of them?
If you come in my office, I got a basketball on the wall for every top 20 win we've had since I've been here. There's 17 or 18 of them. I don't feel like looking up there and counting right now. This is not year one for us here, where we went and beat. I think the first one, I'll peak, away from home was Iowa State my second year. We beat them in New York, and they were number 9 in the country. We're not there anymore. Back then, it was like, you see, we can do this. We should be in a place where we get excited because you're playing a really good team, but there shouldn't be any doubt in our minds that we're good enough or capable to go play the way we're supposed to play and figure out a way to win. That doesn't diminish the respect that I or we will have for Houston. On the contrary, it should generate unbelievable enthusiasm from our part that we get to line up and play a high caliber team that we feel is a representation of an SEC opponent. That's what you try to do in non-conference games. So Michael, I don't speak about what's been accomplished a whole lot because it really doesn't do anything for the next game on the schedule. But we've had some success against really good teams in my time here, and we're really internally, we're really proud of that, and we get out of bed every day with a confidence that what we do works. So but you take it one day at a time, And, whether we have success or not on Saturday from a winning perspective is not going to determine who we are in March. That's just one step on the way to becoming the best team that we can, as the season goes through, whatever experiences and roadblocks or celebrations are in front of us.